in the future, I think especially the next album, whether I can do it myself or I need to bring in all the friends, there will definitely be like a lot more harsh moments, which I know everyone has been begging me for years. But the crazy thing is, one thing I will say about gutturals or harsh vocals is when you were raised in an environment where being angry and yelling at someone is considered wrong and it like hurt you, you psychologically have to tell yourself it's okay to be like screaming like a gorilla. Because your brain's just like, why are you doing that? You're being mean to someone. You're like, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't yell at people. Remember when people yelled at you and how it made you feel like crap? It's all psychological. I think that's why it took me so long to learn this vocal style. But now that I've just completely tossed that idea out of my head, I physically sometimes still feel it and have to like tell my brain, we're safe. You're not doing anything wrong.
Welcome to a new episode of the Bleeding Metal podcast. I'm Kiki, my pronouns are she, her, and today we have a recurring guest that has been with us since the very beginning of our medium, and I'm so happy to welcome you back, Lindsay Schoolcraft.
Hey girl, hey, how's it going?
Cue the applause.
Yay!
So good to see you. It's been a minute. I was just taking a look in preparation to our last talk that was in late 2023. So it's been 2.5 years and a lot has happened since then.
So much crazy 3 years to say the least.
You're going to give us a little bit of a bit of an update. Let's catch up quickly before we dive into all of the topics that are important to us.
Oh, I mean, just to give you, I guess, like the too long didn't read version, I moved to Hamilton, which is like one of the most southern points in Canada. So it's a little bit warmer, not by much, especially in the winter. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've just been working on music again. It took a while just because of the state of the world and the industry, doing other things, music industry related, not necessarily music. But now I'm back on that horse called music, I guess you could say.
Yeah, on our last conversation that I was just mentioning, we talked about a lot of stuff, but we went through your job in marketing with artists. Are you still doing that?
Right. I still do that. It's mainly digital advertising. I can do that stuff in my sleep, literally. It's something else, but it's not my passion. It's just something, to make sure we keep food over our head. Yeah, that's a new one. Roof over our head and food in the fridge and feed the cats. It's the most boring thing about me.
But it's a really, really useful skill to have.
Yeah, it helps. It's definitely helped with this release. Like, definitely. Thank God for that.
And we will talk all about the release, your new album that is coming up in less than a month.
Yeah, just literally as of yesterday, it's a month out, which is crazy.
That's so exciting. But meanwhile, wild. You also joined the podcasting world and were a co-host for a hot second of the Wishful Thinking podcast. And then it got discontinued.
I know. Brooke needed a break and she is a dear friend and she has like all of my support. I miss doing that podcast. I think if we were still doing it, I would not be as heavily involved in music. I would just be off casting spells and telling people how to sync with the moon cycles, and there's enough resources out there to help people understand that if that's what they want to do. So in a way of her going off on her own journey, which like I'm so proud of her for and I respect her for and support her entirely, she really pushed me back into alignment of who I'm supposed to be and what I've kind of been resisting, because there's moving parts of making and releasing music these days that I don't necessarily enjoy. And I'm just like, I don't want to do it because I'm a big baby and I'm tired. So thanks, Brooke.
That's good. Sometimes I think we need those types of nudges of life. Some are stronger than others to get back on the path. I was just telling you before we turned on the live stream and the recording that I moved to Finland last summer. And that was a bit more chaotic, but it was also kind of life slapping me in the face, like, go back to your childhood dreams. So here I am.
As you should. I'm glad to hear that. I'm excited for you. It's amazing where you are.
And before we start going all into the details about your upcoming album, On our last conversation, we also talked a lot about burnout and mental health.
Mm.
Let's catch up on that as well. Are you still staying healthy? What has been happening on that front?
Well, getting older has forced me to take better care of my health because if you don't, like your body and your brain completely bottom out on you. So, mainly just sticking to a good diet, obviously, super boring stuff, going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. Also, just pacing myself, time management, delegation. I do enjoy like the challenge of a deadline coming up and I'm like, "Oh, I got to crunch this." And it definitely makes me use my brain a lot harder,
Yeah.
but that's not necessarily a good thing because that's how you burn out. But I've definitely been learning to schedule in self-care, whether it's like couch rotting or a spa night or like you just have to take care of yourself. Like you can't
Yeah.
I just turned 40. This whole next decade is about like I have limits. Like I'm not 20 anymore. So I know this and I'm doing everything proactively to make sure that's in check.
That's good. That is really important. I love that you mentioned all of these little details. I feel like these human vessels we inhabit really need so much maintenance.
So much, so much. I've got someone for my teeth, my eyes, my back, my lymphatic system,
Right. And then all of the daily things like keeping it fueled and relaxed,
water.
all of those wonderful things. Another thing that also happened in the meantime and also has something to do with mental health was you joining the Cradle of Filth lawsuit.
Mhm.
I have to say, when I read your statement about it, I was so happy for you.
Thank
It
you.
was a bit of long distance empathy and a little pride because, yes, justice needs to be done and we need to learn to stand up for ourselves. I can imagine that was taxing as well, but I would love to know a little more about how you felt about all that.
I mean, what I'm about to say, I would say about any legal case that I was in. I've been in a few. It was good for my mental health. It is mentally taxing, especially when you have to recall things. And you're like, that's not really right, you know? But everyone thought, oh no, Lindsay's mental health must be in the bin. And I'm like, no, I actually felt liberated. I stood up for myself. And from there, the law is going to decide what needs to be done and what needs to happen. But I also did it just for everyone coming after me so they can feel strong and brave in standing up for themselves when things are not handled properly.
Yeah.
Anytime you go forward with a case, especially in the music industry, you're helping strengthen or change laws to protect everyone. I always keep in mind I'm a woman, I'm a minority. There's other minorities that need to know it's okay to stand up for yourself. And if I need to be the person to like educate myself and know my rights and know my limits and know like how things are put in place to protect me, it's good because then I can provide that information to others who've been told, if you try to sue me, I'm going to, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, actually, you can't because the laws state this. Good luck, see you in court kind of thing.
Right.
That's generally just what I wanted to say about that. It's important to stand up for yourself, and it does
Yes.
wonders for the people coming after you. So I'm doing okay. I'm feeling fine. Thanks for asking and caring. I really appreciate it.
That is really good to hear. And what more people need to hear that it is right and it is fair to stand up for what we have done, for our own achievements, to recognize them as well, and to have other people see them, to not be overlooked, to not let people walk over you. And especially in the music industry as women, I think it's really important to know that there are laws, that there are a lot of guidelines in place that people need to follow. And others that maybe need to change and adapt. The whole intellectual property and copyright laws should be changing
Hmm.
because of technology and will probably be changed because of the rise of artificial intelligence. But
Hmm.
we have to be vigilant as well and remember that the things we have authored are ours.
Yeah. Yeah, and it should be respected and there should be like systems put in place to take care of that and do things properly. And when
Exactly.
they aren't, it's exploitation and absolutely no one should be putting up with that. We'll see what the future holds.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's
Yeah.
funny because artificial intelligence was a topic when I talked to Cody just a few months ago, actually, in
Oh,
November
Cody.
2025. And I've been talking about what he said with a lot of people.
Oh, no way.
Yes, I feel like this is going to be a quote for the books. He said that because the market is oversaturated with extremely polished music right now,
Ugh.
that AI can imitate really easily. He prophesized kind of that we will go back to a more raw sound and to appreciate the mistakes and the flaws that humans bring to the table in composition and in songwriting. And I feel like that is so true.
Oh god, how much time do you have? I could rant about this for hours. I
Yes.
mean, well, happy belated birthday to Cody because yesterday was his birthday and he's just one of my
Yes.
best friends and such an important part of my life. What a great human. And he's right. He's right. And that's actually like a mentality that we're carrying into the album after this one coming out next month is getting really raw and gritty and humanistic because that's missing. Yes, Harrowing, the album about to come out, is very polished, a little too polished for my liking, but you got to trust the process. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy right now. We're seeing the rise of people being absolutely fooled by like AI musical artists. I look at metalheads and I'm like, if any metalhead found out that the new band they checked out and got into was AI, they would be out on the street with torches and pitchforks. Metalheads are not putting up with that shit, period. But it's something that I'm currently, like the past few days, have been dealing with that I just have to laugh at is being online. There's the comparison trap and there's just this quality of content that just keeps leveling up and leveling up, and then it just got too clean, and that's what AI is building itself off of.
Mhm.
And I didn't really follow for that trend. I'm sure you've seen my socials. I'm literally just posting very candid photos, low quality videos, talking quickly. I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm just here for the people who already care, who want to hear some new music. Okay, that's it.
Yes.
But now I think it's hilarious that I can keep it at that level and people are like stoked that I'm a real human. And I'm like, before it was being vulnerable and authentic. Now it's like, oh, I'm a real human. I got my real human badge on Spotify. Not that I am with anything that platform's doing. I have a hate relationship with it. But like,
Mhm.
I just laughed. I'm like, I never thought like I'd see the day Spotify verified you're human. I'm like, what?
Okay.
what what is going on? But I think a lot of people will share this feeling, sentiment. Everything I'm about to say is AI should not be an art. Period.
Mhm.
It should not be. It is for these mediocre people with no talent to steal and think that they have talent. It's always those with no magic who are telling you what to do with your own. That's what they're doing. They're stealing
Yeah.
from us and thinking that they have magic when they don't, and they're lazy and they don't have the drive to make that magic themselves. Shame on you. If you're making AI music, you're a loser. Please do something to better humanity, but not this. That's just what
Yeah.
I'm going to say. A lot of people share that. I personally, like, again, just opinions. AI should be used for healthcare. I think it should be used
Mhm.
for detecting cancer early. I think it should be
Mhm.
used for predicting what outcomes should be when making medication. I think it should be life supporting, life sustaining, life saving technology. But when
Mhm.
it's taking away of the livelihood of artists, that's not life sustaining. That's destroying our mental health, making a lot of people quit. AI should be supporting us along our lives and our adventures and our journeys. I love the quote. It's like, AI should not be writing my next novel. It should be doing my dishes and my laundry so I can write my next
Yes.
novel. Put
Yes.
that in place with an album. You know what I mean? It's a quote that came from a woman. It's a very female opinion because I know there's so many women out there who have a family and they want to make art, but they're bogged down taking care of the family. And
Yeah.
if AI could step in, if you had a little home robot that doesn't turn on you and like strangle you in your sleep one day, because there's been too many horror movies made about that. We know about that. We know about Skynet. But
Yeah.
if I could have a little robot at home taking care of my cat, actually, I want to take care of my own cat. He's my baby, but doing my dishes, doing the laundry, vacuuming all day,
Mhm.
going and fetching my mail. I feel like I would just make so much more music. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about this shit. I
Yes.
can just live in this contained unit. My little robot pal's going to take care of everything. I'm going to go learn a new piece on harp. I'm going to record a home demo for my Patreon.
Mhm.
Tell me when the robots are ready to do the chores so we can have, again, life supporting,
Yes.
life giving,
Yeah.
life sustaining, and I'm glad because I am on the other side of things in my
Mhm.
industry and I'm very close to legal things right now because of the case I'm in, but also just I like to follow the legal news. And there is a lot of progressive, very aggressive petitions, and they're going through
Mhm.
the court system and they're really trying to get AI out of music. because there's proof that it's theft, it's affecting everyone, it's not right. And I'm glad that I'm very grateful to the lawyers out there who are fighting these fights to keep
Yes.
music with the people who make it and not allow it to be stolen and used by mediocre people. Just because I don't know, it's crazy because it does it really affect any other area of life? It's not really affecting athletes. Any field where it is hurting people's careers, I think AI should just not be there. I think it should be a tool, not a
Mhm.
supplement for something that humans need to be doing.
And there's a case to be made as for its use as a tool, right? There are some people who advocate about the use of AI in music for people with disabilities, for example, who have a lot of obstacles in their way towards, I don't know, producing or playing an instrument. For the most cases, it is people trying to defend their use of AI to make music in saying, I never had the chance to learn an instrument or I never did. And that's exactly what makes artists who have taken the time to educate themselves and to rehearse and to try out different vocal techniques and different instruments and learn all of the music theory and everything that it takes to actually be a good songwriter or a good lyricist or a good vocalist or a good instrumentalist or producer. It's a lot of work and yeah, also a lot of money because not
Mm,
only because of the gear, but also because of the lessons and just all of the time and effort that we put into it to get to the level where we can put something out into the world instead of just 3 clicks and
yeah.
some check boxes.
The thing, especially if someone has a disability, like this is my community mindset. Like if someone has a disability and they've written just this beautiful symphony, this beautiful piece, this beautiful album with a band, and they're like, I use a sample library, but I'm disabled, I'm on a government pay, I don't have a lot of money. I feel like so many musicians would show up for that person. If someone
Sure.
came to me as like, I wrote this symphony, but I did it with samples, would you play harp on it? Yeah, of course. I have more privilege than you. Why would I not want to help you?
Mhm.
Of course, I have to think the symphony is pretty great. I'm sure it would be great. But that's like my mindset of community. We should be there to help one another out. But when you are just blatantly stealing and trying to call it your own and then like try to hold the copyright and make money off of it,
Yeah.
it's theft. That's what it comes to at the end of the day. There's always ways, it's communication, and I like that everyone's seeing it for what it is and they're calling it out. I know like people are really getting slammed down for using AI on their socials, and AI is everywhere.
Yeah.
AI is autocorrect, and I need autocorrect because I don't know how to spell certain words. I have some mild dyslexia. That's my disability, but it's not like I'm going out there and using Chat GBT to write my lyrics. That's messed up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's a huge conversation right now.
Yeah. What was the headline? This person in the States made like 8 million with his
Yeah.
AI music and AI bots that streamed it.
And it's
8
because, yeah,
million.
I know how he did it because the system's broken and there's nothing moderating it. I run ads for a living. That's what I do for the industry. It's not even real people coming through, it's bots. And we
Mhm.
have two people at the end of the day to blame for this, Zuckerberg and the CEO of Spotify, because they made this broken system that ultimately rigged them in the end. And it's a very interesting case, but that person is purely an opportunist. I don't consider them an artist. And I don't even know if a lot of real people listened to that music
Mhm.
because you can just fake all of it and somehow make money at the end of the day. What is that? What is
Yeah.
that?
It's crazy. Yeah. So here's to hoping that this whole thing will remake those broken systems into something better.
What I'm seeing, like personally and in my own life, is like women are just done. Women are done. We want the matriarchy. And when some people hear that, they think it's females in charge because that's what the patriarchy is. It's men in charge and having control. No, the matriarchy is built to protect minorities, children, the elderly, women, people with disabilities. It's just meant to support and sustain everyone. But
Mhm.
you look at the stats. I mean, I'm just going to be a nerd here for a minute, people. We'll get back to talking about the music, but women are more educated than men. Women are protesting and saying no to marriage and having children. I mean, I never wanted children, but me not having children is me protesting against that because in capitalism, it is absolutely slavery for the woman. It's completely
Yeah.
sustained on their invisible labor. And the guy gets to go out and have a cool career. No, I don't think so. Women are fed up and we're speaking our mind and we're saying no. And through this, I hope that just, both sides are communicating and taking accountability and learning how to regulate their goddamn emotions. Yeah, I could say so much on that. That's kind of my area of study right now. Being on the spectrum, I don't have real hobbies. I just study and look
Mhm.
into things I find are interesting, whether it's like keeping my houseplants alive or feminism. Again, another dirty word to some people.
Right.
Figure it out. It's not my job to educate you all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A lot of it does make me angry, but I think the more that we speak about it and the more we talk about it and the more we stand up for ourselves, I would love a matriarchal society. Oh my goodness, I'm
Yes.
praying for it. I can't wait. I hope before I leave this earth, we get to see that. That would be
Oh, that would
amazing.
be beautiful. That would be absolutely beautiful. The thing about feminism is also that men don't realize that it would benefit them as well. And I have absolutely relished in this past year when I have interviewed men in metal bands and they actually realize or talk to me about how they are also affected by the patriarchy and by beauty
Yeah,
standards and by social pressures, and how it's like a conscious effort for them to say, yeah, we talk about emotional things in the tour bus. And
that's
it's like,
good.
yes.
Thank God. I hope men are talking about their feelings because,
Yeah.
as you know, the patriarchy is also hurting men. And they finally gave it a diagnosis. It's called alexiphagia, where men don't know how to identify and process their emotions. So it always defaults to anger and depression
Mm.
and sometimes sadness. And that is completely the toxic masculinity that has been put through this patriarchal system. So
Yeah.
I want more men to be able to cry, to be able to identify like really weird emotions like grief and embarrassment and being overwhelmed. That's an
Hmm.
emotion too. You know what I mean? There's good anxiety and bad anxiety. And
Yeah.
so many men don't even know the beginning of that. A lot of us women do. For the most part, a lot of us are in therapy and we're figuring it out. We're healing our trauma. We're ending the
Yeah.
cycles. I've definitely seen that and I love that. I would love for men to do that too, like not be afraid of it and just go for it. Because when you start that work, your quality of life gets better. And then we can
Yes.
all have healthier relationships. But I mean, I'm just some chick living in Canada full of ideas and opinions and thoughts. Like,
I love that.
don't take me too seriously. Chill out, guys. Chill out. If anyone's getting ragey right now, please go touch grass. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Work through that alexiphagia.
But I love that we can also get, this is also something that I have been saying for years, that we need to have these conversations. We need to see the
Yeah.
world from our human perspective that is totally political through and through. We need to be conscious about the effects of those, and also, yes, about feelings, about the different types of personalities that are out there and how we can coexist in this world. And going back to your music, Cody spoiled something else when he was here
Oh my God, what did he say?
last
That man's getting me in trouble.
time. We were talking on the day that Crucified released, and he was so excited about it. And
Oh.
he said that the lyrics are about narcissism and the abuse that it causes.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask
Oh
you
yeah.
about those stories among the others that are on the album.
Well, Cody pretty much wrote the foundation of that song and what it became, and he wrote one hell of a banger. And
Yes.
it's such an angry song. And he sent it to me, and I was like, yeah, I want to do something with this because it's absolutely reflecting how I feel inside, but I have to figure out how I'm going to say it. And I find that like, I just kind of word vomit and melody vomit all over the track until it starts making sense. I think we modulated the verse melody a few times, and the chorus lyrics were something completely different before. And I mean, I'm half Irish, half Romanian, so I was raised Roman Catholic. Like the
Mhm.
Catholic words and symbolism, it's always going to be in there because it's part of my heritage, it's part of my upbringing. I don't follow that faith, obviously. I'm not a Catholic, not at all, if you can't tell by what we were talking about earlier. Once I started seeing the story that was coming in front of me, it was just that awareness of like, you're just using me. Like, you're a really shitty leader. You're really manipulative. You think you're so important and you just like, control everyone else through anger and fear and not feeling good enough for the narcissist. Like, no matter how many
Hmm.
times I try or how many good deeds I bring forward, it's never enough for you. I think my biggest pet peeve with certain narcissists or certain toxic people is they'll ask you for ideas and they're like, no, that's shit. And then a week later, they're putting forward that idea and taking all the credit for it. I call that
Yeah,
the
right.
Timon and Pumbaa effect. If anyone's ever watched The Lion King, Timon would do that to Pumbaa. It was just horrible, but it's just such a real thing that happens. So, yeah, Crucified was like, I just needed to write it because I think there's so many people who've been that when they wake up and they realize, oh, you suck. You are such a shit person.
Mhm.
And I'm not putting up with this anymore. And of course, Harrowing goes through like the whole story of what that's like. But yeah, that's the angry moment of yikes, you are not great
Mhm.
and you're
Mhm.
doing
Mhm.
not great things. And I am good enough. And I see that I am now, but like, damn, you're never gonna stop being this self-proclaimed king. It's got this whole
Yeah.
royalty thing wrapped in it. So that's Crucified. She's an angry song. And it's
Yes.
cool because the angel that we put in it is actually the sister to the one of judgment. I'm totally blanking on her name right now, but there's the angel that's used in the court systems, and she has her
Mhm.
blindfolded eyes and she's holding a scale, and it's like you'll be judged justly. But then the angel in the video is the one with the hourglass and the sword, meaning your time has come.
Mhm.
I put her in there. Not only does she relate to the cover artwork for the album, but just kind of like your time's coming. The karma's
Mhm.
coming for you. You can't keep being crappy and think that there's never going to be a consequence because one day there's going to be more of us than there is of you. And you've created this army of people who you've absolutely done wrong who are coming for you. So I don't know, just pack it in, change your name, move away, stop being shitty to people is probably your best option, which they're
Yeah.
very good at running away and changing identities, obviously.
Mm.
Yeah, it's an interesting little story, that song. I'm glad I wrote it. I'm glad Cody brought me that song because we all love it. We're all very proud of it.
Yes, it is amazing. It was in my head for weeks and weeks. And
That's awesome.
there's this very short fragment of the song where some screams would be good. And then they're screaming in So Alive. Are you screaming in So Alive?
No, oh my gosh, no. I actually am in lessons right now with Marcella Bovio. I'm sure you know who that is.
Yes.
She's teaching me harsh vocals, which I have a lot of work to do if I'm not going to sound insane and like I'm vomiting my guts out and I'm not hurting myself, obviously. But I wrote that song So Alive, and it's very much a song about reclaiming your power and realizing that these people may have stuck all these really crap opinions on you, but they're not your truth. You
Mhm.
define your truth and your worth. And Krista is the guest vocalist on that track.
Mhm.
She's someone who's near and dear to me, a very good friend, and she went through something similar to what this whole album is about previously, and she got herself out of it, and I'm just so proud of her, and she's living an incredible life now. I'm really, really happy for her. And we're like, well, we need a guest vocalist on this album. This spot's heavy. I was like doing like some Lisa Gerrard type vocals over it, and it just was not landing. I was like, I don't know what to do with this bridge on this song, this heavy
Mhm.
bridge. I have no idea. And then I just thought of Krista and like how much I love her voice. She's such a powerhouse on stage. Like she's just a phenomenal vocalist for both clean and harsh.
What's the name of her band?
She currently doesn't have anything. She left her band for reasons I don't want to mention them. But Krista Shipperbottom is what she is on socials. You can go follow her there. And she does have some stuff coming out. I'm just not allowed to say. I'm sworn to
Mhm.
secrecy. So just go check out Krista. You'll find out what the new project is soon.
Awesome.
It was cool to have her on there. She brought that song to a whole new level.
Mhm.
She sounds amazing. In the future, I think especially the next album, whether I can do it myself or I need to bring in all the friends, there will definitely be like a lot more harsh moments, which I know everyone has been begging me for years. One thing I will say about gutturals or harsh vocals is when you were raised in an environment where being angry and yelling at someone is considered wrong and it like hurt you psychologically have to tell yourself it's okay to be screaming like a gorilla.
Yeah.
because your brain's just like, why are you doing that? You're being
Yeah.
mean to someone. You're like, that's wrong. You shouldn't do
Yeah.
that. You shouldn't yell at people. Remember when people yelled at you and how it made you feel like crap? It's all psychological. I think that's why it took me so long to learn this vocal style. But now that I've just completely tossed that idea out of my head, I physically sometimes still feel it and have to like tell my brain we're safe. You're not
Yeah.
doing anything wrong. Now that I've gotten over that roadblock, I'm really, really excited to see. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to do Krista's vocals live, because how she does her fry screams, there's so much articulation, and she does the choppy, bouncy fry very, very well. I haven't done that yet. I can do the low stuff apparently pretty well.
Mhm.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future for the live show. No idea yet.
That's amazing. And oh my goodness, yes. I think that's something not so many people talk about. There are so many vocal coaches nowadays out there teaching harsh vocals. I have worked with Marcella.
Mm.
I started learning harsh vocals myself
Nice.
3 years ago.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Yes, and I did like a 2-day boot camp with Marcella, and she's amazing.
She's amazing.
Marcella had been my
Nice.
vocal coach before, and I just love working with her. She's incredible. But I feel like what you mentioned is something I also went through and took a lot of therapy almost and deconstruction of my own mind, because I
Yeah.
feel like we should talk about that more. How in this patriarchal capitalist society we live in, it is not very well seen when women express rage and when
No,
women get
we're not
loud.
allowed to
And
be angry.
exactly, we're not allowed to be angry. Such a mind fuck and such an obstacle when you want to start doing harsh vocals. I really had to go through a whole thought process about, yeah, that's what's happening. And then of course there
Mhm.
was the whole other thing of being classically trained.
Yes.
I started classical singing lessons when I was 15, and it was all about singing pretty and singing nicely, as clean as possible. And all of a sudden, you want to do the absolute opposite and be scary and ugly and make it sound dirty and
Gritty and
disgusting. And
yeah, it's wild.
so my mind has to catch up to that first, or my feelings, my body has to catch up to that first. And we should talk about that
Yeah,
more, because singing is just emotions, and
so
our
personal.
mind, our mindset is just so defining to how we sing. So it's not only
Mhm.
the muscles and the vocal technique, it's really all about the feelings that we're feeling in that moment. And
Yeah.
rage and anger are emotions as valid as any other, and we should be able to express them. We should be able to scream more. I feel like that should be taught in schools more.
Absolutely. It's crazy, like, men holding in their emotions and crying, what the damage it does to them. We
Yeah.
as women, when we hold in our rage, it comes up in autoimmune disease
Mm.
and illness. We hold it in our body and then it just turns
Yeah.
into something else. So yeah, I agree. I think it's important. Music and writing definitely helped, and then going to the gym helped. But now when I'm, making gorilla noises in my bedroom doing my homework that Marcella gave me, I'm like, this feels so much better. I don't want to punch someone in the face
Yeah.
anymore. This is
Yeah.
so sick.
Yeah, I do the grunting a lot when I'm just like frustrated with whatever's happening, work or whatever, just at any time of the day.
Yeah.
It's really it is really relieving.
Hmm.
Before I let you go back to the rest of your day, dive in a little bit into Harrowing. It's coming out on June 19th, and
Hmm.
it has a very beautiful artwork. Who did you work with for that?
So his name is Alphonse Mocha, and he has been deceased for a very long time. That piece of art is like over 100 years old. It's in public domain.
Mm.
And it's crazy because before I wanted to do music, I wanted to be a visual artist, and he has always been my favorite visual artist. And I knew about a lot of his pieces.
Mhm.
But when the bulk of these songs were coming together, I was like, oh, we have an album here, and we're just like polishing it and in the muck of refining it, right?
Yeah.
I was scrolling and I follow the official accounts on Instagram, and that piece of art came up. And I was like, that's my album cover. That's
Yes.
it. That's it. There's a historical site that explained there was no notes left by him, but there was a lot of student opinions, like scholarly opinions on what the piece should have been about.
Mhm.
And it was pretty much the changing of time. No one is safe from it. We're all going to get old and die. It was like the changing of the new year, and that purple figure, which was more of a gray in the original. Like Zen and I had to touch up the colors. Like Zen, where he's doing the layout and helping me with this because he's the best. The angel of death comes for everyone, and it's just kind of coming to say goodbye to the year, and there's a new year coming. And it's so very symbolic when you dive into it. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then it was crazy because there's two different ways of looking at the word harrowing, and I hope I'm quoting this correctly. Like there's a slow, long, dragged out harrowing process, right? Of anything. That's what the word is for. But then there's a biblical term for harrowing, and the harrowing, if I remember correctly, was the time when the angels went down into hell and took out the people who were wrongly judged for being sinful, like
Wow.
people that Satan had claimed incorrectly, falsely, which is part of the theme of this. It's just like realizing like, hey, you're not what they said you were. You're not a bad person. They're just keeping you there to use you. So there's a lot of symbolism in that, in the sense of like, I'm hoping that this album can help people wake up to what they are going through and getting help. Not saying I'm like an angel or anything, but coming down into hell and getting the good people who are wrongly judged out. I feel like in this case, this album could show you're actually just in a really bad position, and I hope you get help. So it's all it has such a deep meaning to it that aligned very easily. I didn't really have to try. I just created, and the rest of it showed up when it needed to. And I'm very grateful for that. It has so much meaning for me, and I love the visuals. I love that artwork. I appreciate what Zen did to it because he took it from a magazine cover and he got rid of the border and he extended on it. And it's beautiful. When he sent me the first pass, I like cried. It's so beautiful. It's exactly how I saw it in my head, even though it's Alphonse Muir's work. Oh my God.
Yes.
So
yeah, I really love the colors on it.
It's so pretty. We color treated it. Yeah, it definitely faded to a weird gray blue orange, and I was like, no, we need to give her some love. We need to make her ridiculously purple, peach, and pink. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your band pictures are also really, really beautiful. We will include them here in post-production magic.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and the videos as well. The videos have really different aesthetics.
Yeah, they're all over the place because each song is like a chapter, so it can kind of just be like its own episode. Going back to the photos, speaking of post-production magic, that was all Andrea Hunter. She made us look amazing, along with our hair and our makeup. That was done with the Crucified music video, but I definitely went above and beyond on these music videos. I spent most of last year producing those music videos between Lighthouse is not on the album, but Lighthouse is its own standalone single. It's all underwater, which is so hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. You could send me on a world tour and I'd be like, I got this. But like singing underwater and acting underwater is so hard. But I'm glad that like people are liking them. Crucified was a very serious toned music video. And then we did I Wait For You to Fall, which is a very electronica nu metal sounding track. And we decided to do like a VH1 pop-up video because it just felt right. It's what we wanted to do.
It was very Jamiroquai.
Yeah. Oh my God. Bless that man. I feel like being older now, I need to go back and listen to his music with fresh ears because I've been doing that with Linkin Park and The Prodigy and Korn. And I'm just like, what did I miss when I was like 15 and I didn't have producer ears, So it's nice to rediscover music you listened to in high school when you're older and more like well-rounded into hearing and enjoying things. Yeah, that's why we made those music videos. We had a lot of fun putting them together. So much work though. Oh my Lord.
Another very distinct sound. I obviously had the advanced copy and I listened to the whole album and it's really amazing. I'm so excited. And there is also a very distinct Evanescence influence that I think has been there throughout your career, but it reminded me of the old school Evanescence that I kind of miss.
Oh,
so
well, that's because I have Rocky in there. Rocky is bringing those old school riffs in a lot of places. Okay, so story time. Evanescence took me out of punk. I used to be in an all-girl punk band. All I listened to was like the Distillers and Rancid and Jack Off Jill and Blink-182 and Green Day and you name it. I was listening to it. And Evanescence came out and I'm like, I resonate more with this. I can't identify why yet, but I resonate more with this. And then I went to college and my sister sent me off to college with, because you could like illegally rip and download a bunch of music back then. She sent me off to college with a USB. She's like, I found Evanescence's entire discography. And I'm like, what do
Yes.
you mean? They've only put out one album. What are you talking about? She's like, no, like this is the album before the album. This is the demo version of the album. This is all their demos from when they were teenagers. And I was like, okay. And then I went to college and that's all I listened to for 8 months. Everything, we're talking Origin, Not
Mm.
for Your Ears. I can't remember all the EP names. That little pocket of music changed my life forever. Because of
Mhm.
that, I got into trip hop. I cared more about electronica. I was already into EDM, but you know what I mean? I started looking at like it's not necessarily considered goth music, but I was like, maybe I should dig more into Susie and the Banshees and like Bauhaus and Sisters of Mercy, just so I've done my homework and I can say I know where this is all stemming from. And that led me to like Bjork. And then I found the Vespertine album, and that's why I play the harp.
Wow.
Even though I know the band has a long history, and those three people, Amy and Ben and David, made all that music together, what it did to me, it forever changed the structure of my brain and how
Mm.
I make music. It's just such a heavy influence on me. And I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm okay with that. Am I going to look for something a little different on like this next album that we're working on right now, past Harrowing? Maybe,
Mm.
but you're always going to hear a little moment of that mournful Amy Lee moment in a
Yeah.
melody or in a lyric somewhere because she raised me. That's it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
so you're working on a new album already. That is awesome.
It needed to happen because Harrowing took 4 years. So
Mhm.
as we were waiting to get time to wrap up Harrowing, I just flew to Winnipeg where Cody lives. He has a home studio and we just started churning out tunes. I think we have like 8 songs. I know there's going to be more pop-ups. There's always like that 2 more songs that just pop up during the process, but
Yeah.
we just started making things that we thought sounded cool, and I came with some half-baked ideas, and yeah, we just were like, "Let's go for it." I just wanna make something that sounds more like my love of, world music, mainly to do with the singing from Eastern Europe and playing my
Mm.
harp, and Gregorian chant. That's the most world music you'll hear,
Woo.
but also I love trip hop. I love new metal. I love alt. I want to do something that's really me. With this last album, I didn't get a lot of time to compose a lot of my own string sections and arrangements. I gave a lot of that to Spencer, who did all the orchestration you heard on it,
Mhm.
because I was just so slammed for time. And I had said it takes a lot to get into that headspace where you feel like you're downloading ideas from the universe, like you feel really in the flow and tapped in. I didn't
Yeah.
unfortunately get a lot of time to do that on this one, but thank God I had Spencer. I think he just brought something else to the table. I love it. We've released the song Vague today, and there's this whole movement in the bridge, and it's just heart wrenching. It just makes you so emotional to hear it. I don't know if I would have been able to do that on my own. I think I would have done something really silly. I have a classical background, heavily influenced by Tchaikovsky. Like, I think it would have been
Mhm.
very like Sugar Plum Fairy type shit. Celesta or something. So I'm glad he took over. But yes, yes, prepare for like, silliness on the next album, even though it's going to be so dark. I already have the vision and the topic. It's just like actually making it. So
Mhm.
yeah, we're crazy. But if you are inspired to write, why would you just if you're holding it off, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to the art. So I'm very grateful for Cody that he's given me the time and the space to start making these tunes. And I think we're going to get a good chunk of it done this August. And then hopefully we'll have another one out next year. And then hopefully the world will be right and everything will be green grass and we'll be able to go on tour.
Yes, I was just about to ask about that. That was also something that Cody said. He would jump into a van with you in a second.
He's so sweet. Because not a lot of people want to do that at this age. As you get older, your energy goes down, and being a homebody is definitely the thing. And I see so many of my friends going through that, whether they have families or not. I received a lot of rejection last year trying to build extra parts of my team, and it's okay because now I see who's like a ride or die and who's just not. You got to go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. You have to be around the people who believe in you and want to help you move forward, that kind of community mentality. So we did have plans for this year, but a lot of them fell through just due to the state of the world and economy. I won't bore you to tears. We all know the reasons. Honestly, it feels like the pandemic again. I'm not locked at home. I can go outside, but I can't afford to get into the States or leave the country and go to Europe right now, which is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And well, if we can't do that, we can play some shows in Canada and we can hope for 2027 and put out another album then. And that would be stellar.
Yes.
So that's where we're at right now. We're never going to stop creating. I can't. I'm always getting like
So
ideas for songs.
perfect. So 2 albums in 2 years. That must be also some kind of record.
Probably for me. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, I did do Worlds Away right after Martyr, but it was a harp album. So like, does it count? Because you have to like record all the drums and the guitars and the orchestra and like get it mixed. I just went into the studio with a harp and a hope and a dream, and it came out in a few weeks.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited for the next year and a half. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens.
Well, manifesting, right? Maybe a festival appearance or 2 over here next year. That would be incredible.
I would love that. If any booking agents are watching, hi, call me, email me. Please get me to Europe. I would love to play Mera Luna and Wave Gothic Treffen and anything.
Ooh.
Call me.
Lindsay, thank you so much. It has been amazing to catch up with you and to hear you doing so well. And so excited for Harrowing coming out June 19th. Everyone go out and stream it, buy it, order it. We will link everything in the description so that you can get your hands on this really cool album. I just listened to it. I love it. I have some more songs now to add to my brain to get stuck in, just like Crucified did a few months ago. Banger, for real. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
So we'll do it again next year then when the next album drops.
Can't wait. I'll see you in a year.
Amazing. And thanks everyone out there for watching and listening. Bleeding Metal is hosted, produced, and edited by me. I'm Kiki GG87 on socials. Subscribe now to the Bleeding Metal podcast wherever you listen. And on YouTube, all links are in the description, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.